Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to our Reuzel Scumbassador Live on Facebook. I'm Carrie Fonte. Thank you, Brooklyn. I'm Carrie Fonte with Reuzel Education. And today we have Brooklyn Damon doing our demonstration. Brooklyn's going to do an amazing job and you're going to have a great time, a lot of fun. Look at that model's hair. I'm excited to jump in. But before we do, let me just remind you, any questions, comments, thoughts you have, please type them into the box. I'll interrupt Brooklyn. We'll get you the answers. Make sure that your needs are met. And with that, Brooklyn, I'm going to turn it over to you. Take it away.
Good morning, Facebook. How we doing out there? I'm Brooklyn J, Scumbassador at Reuzel Pomade, and I like to do three things: kick, dance, and cut some hair. Come on over. Let's meet our model this morning. This is our buddy Austin. Austin came in the shop the other day with all of this hair. And since I was going to do this Facebook Live on Monday on a mannequin, we had to swoop him. So I want to thank Austin for coming in today. So we got a nice live model, great hair, and we're going to cut it all off. So like we do with all of our clients, we need to get our hair wet, right? When you get that hair wet, like super wet. And what this is going to do is give us an idea, kind of give us a canvas and see our haircut. Now, when the hair is wet like this, you get to see everything. You can see how that hair lies, where it's going to fall. And already you can see the huge difference from that to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's in that. We don't know what cowlicks. He's got a little bit of curl, a little whirl. Where's that going to go? But once we wet that haircut down, we can actually see the shape of a haircut in there somewhere. Now, Austin chose this morning off of our wonderful wall of Reuzel haircuts. He wants the executive contour. Now, the executive contour is one of the most classic haircuts. And I think it's classic because it is basically the foundation of every gentleman short haircut. Now, once you get the foundation put in your haircut, then we can do all sorts of things. Nowadays, you can modernize that cut real simple by adding a lot of texture to the top. Product is going to help how you comb and style that hair. But our foundation is the exact same. That executive contour is probably one of the most important haircuts you should have in your repertoire. Now, at Reuzel, we are known for the executive contour. Recently, we started doing it a little bit different, changing up the steps. Not a whole lot, just enough to kind of simplify and make our work later on in the haircut after we dry it so much easier. Now, with all of our haircuts, we get them nice and wet, comb that back, and then we're going to section off all our hair, starting here in the recession, and then bringing that back to our crown. Head shape always plays an important part in sectioning off our hair. So now once we get that a little bit in, I want to dip that down just a little bit more. Now, one great trick that we've been taught at Reuzel, we always share our tips, and somebody's always got a great one. Bam, two combs, putting that together at a nice square angle. Then we can see at a 45-degree, that's where our part belongs. Head shape dictates life. We're going to do the same rules on every haircut, but you have to adapt to your surroundings. So you might have a nice chunk in the back, a huge occipital. So we might want to dip that down a little bit more. Or it could be a little bit fried. So we want to do a horseshoe a little bit. But I'm so glad we chose Austin today because he's got perfect head shape. Now, it's kind of weird in our business. I'm all like, man, you got a beautiful head, sir. You know, that's a little awkward to say, but see, take them where you can get them, right? It's a good attitude to have, Austin. So I know in our industry, we used to just start on the one side and then section off the other side. Nah, we're going to section off both sides at the same time. so we can see our client's canvas. Now, I know in our industry, the word artist gets thrown around a lot. And I'm not trying to say we're not artists or anything like that. But what I'm saying is we're both. We're the architect and the builder. Ooh, that's a lot of hair. Getting old. Holding my arms up like this all day long is getting to me. What? Using clips? Yeah, that's right. I'm using clips. There's nothing wrong with putting a clip in a guy's hair. Just a little bit more in the sectioning. And then we're going to start cutting. Now, today, primarily, we're going to be using clipper over comb and then some freehand clipper work. And then we'll go in with our shears and then blending shears. Right. Austin's a little tall, just a little bit. So usually you want to have your client working in the center of your chest a little bit lower. But again, we can't dictate what size our clients are going to be all the time, and our chairs only go so low. So, no, you're good. I want my client to be comfortable at all times. So we'll have to change a little bit and work a little bit higher. Usually we don't like to keep work anywhere, you know, with our arms like this, because then we start tilting. Everything is not going to be straight, excuse me. And then we're going to keep in this position, right? So we start on our dominant side, always on the right side. Most of us are right-handed. If you are left-handed, man, work on the left side. So my dominant hand is right, and that's where we're going to work. Now, the widest part of the head, as we know, is right here by the ear. So I sectioned off a little part, working in the back there, and we're just going to leave that. I'm going to start right above his ear, grabbing all of this hair from the bottom, bringing it all the way up, keeping it parallel to the floor. And my primary guide there. So we want that executive, so we're going to keep it kind of short here. Coming in, trying to get it as parallel to the floor as I can. Now, I'm not too concerned with the front here. I'm just working on this back section, right? Because I want that front to be a little bit longer towards the temple so that I can kind of create this nice square shape. So I pull a little hair out all the way up, and I'm going to make my first cut. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. I want to thank Court Dingwall, Scumbassador, for that little tip. Now I'm going to do that same, lifting the hair all the way up, parallel with the floor, and cut. Now this is just a rough baseline. I'm going to go back in one more time and clean that baseline up. But this is generally where I want that to be. So now I'm going to start working my way left, around the head, parallel with the floor, and my parting. Lifting that hair all the way up from the bottom and staying parallel with my partings. Bring that all the way up again. And continuing that all the way around. Now you can bring it all the way down this way if you want. It doesn't matter. We're going to pick that up in a second. Work one side at a time. So now that's just the general idea. Always making sure our haircut is always nice and wet, giving us the best tension on our sections.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, what's up, Gary?
May I interrupt? Can you have your camera person just come a smidge closer, please? Someone's asking if they can see it a little better.
Yeah, totally. Come on in here. So now I'm going to go back in right where I started, in front of the ear, lifting that up and cleaning up that baseline, making sure it's nice and tight how I want it before I move forward. Grabbing that up and bringing it around. Now I'm using my non-dominant hand or my comb hand, and I'm just using that as a kind of a pivot to keep my steady hand and making sure that I'm the same length all the way around to the occipital. It's occipital, occipital, the bump in the back. Now we can already see from all that nice long hair with just one baseline pass, you can almost see that haircut coming along nicely. So now our next step is going to be working from that top down. We're going to lift all that hair. The fingers pivoting right in front of the head. All that top stuff starts falling out. And I'm just going to take that little gap. Lifting up. Working towards my front. Always leaving that length a little bit longer up in here. Now I'm going to start working my way back around the head. Same technique, lifting. Slight tilt on my comb, letting that top hair fall out. And then working back around. Now I know, when I first started doing all these techniques and stuff like that, you see all these videos online and, a guy makes one pass and it's beautiful. And makes another pass, and that's beautiful too. And then he puts it up, it's just perfect haircut. Like, of course you're going to post the best haircut and your best clients. So if you think we were just going to take one pass, it's just going to be wonderful every single haircut, you're in for a surprise. Again, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The Court Dingwall way. Right behind that here. And dipping down. And when you work it in clipper over comb in your shop, as opposed to just dumping on a number 2 guard and going at it, even if my client asks for a number 2, just try to do clipper over comb on him. He's not going to look like the guy standing next to him with the number 2 and finger length on top. It's going to be a little bit more tailored to his head shape. Definitely things have gotten a little weird with masks. Just going to cut some of this off real quick. Working down that head. Now, once you start getting past your occipital, you can leave clipper over comb and do some freehand. So I'll do all the way open, just removing some of this neck hair, because I know I'm going to go back in and take a lot of this out.
Brooklyn,
What's up, Carrie?
there's a question for you. Brett wants to know, what kind of clippers are you working with for the clipper over comb?
Clipper over comb. It's easy. That's going to be my Babyless Effects. These are the gold ones. I got a couple of them. It's a great clipper. What can I say? They are very quiet out of the box. And that's nice. Because a lot of times when I'm cutting hair, I don't know if, I'm sure other people do this as well, but when you're fading, you kind of, not only know it by look and feel, but definitely by sound. Older I get, the harder it is to see, especially by like the 8th haircut. So, just having that ability to, have a quiet clipper that's not overshadowing the cut, and hearing that is really nice for me.
Thank you.
Got it. I'm still trying to get my hands on those purple ones. If anyone's listening, wink. All right. So now I kind of got my basic shape in that we're working with. I'm gonna go to the other side, and I guess that's where the real trick comes in, is matching the two up. I'm gonna spray a little bit more water, always making sure our hair is nice and wet. There. So, how's everyone doing out there this morning?
A couple of your Scumbassador buddies are watching you. Q and Nick, they're supporting you from their class they're teaching at the Appaloosa Technical College. So welcome.
Appaloosa?
I hope I said that right. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
In Florida.
yeah, that's right next to the occipital, I think. Appaloosa. That's a pretty cool name.
Do me a favor, before you cut that side, just spin them around, because some people have joined us late, and there's a big difference in what you've cut off there.
Yeah, you can see definitely, you know, this year we're doing a lot more longer haircuts. Guys are coming in. So, you know, we're getting the opportunity. Some of my guys want mullets, and that's wonderful for us. You know, we get to be a little bit more artsy and creative with it. And
Uh-oh, Brooklyn, we lost you.
somebody was trying to call us. Spam. I don't want to talk about my car's warranty right now. I want to cut some hair. But yeah, you know, like you know, usually, you know, Austin comes in this length hair. I'm trying to keep talking him into keeping it. You know, like, oh, we love hair, you know, or doing something, you know, funky and fresh. But he didn't want that. He wants to go back to that nice tight gentleman's cut. And we're giving him the executive contour this morning. And yeah, for those just joining us, we're just trying to match sides now. So again, starting on our left side, I'm using my finger for stability and also to remember how long my other side is. I'm starting behind the ear, lifting up all that hair parallel to the floor. And I'm going to work with the direction of the hair, right? Some people go in and just do it, you know, your normal way. I like to go with this nice little backhand. Lifting up our hair, parallel to the floor, parallel with our parting. It's so crazy. I had this kind of like, I don't know, Russell Crowe beautiful mind moment at our last Scumbassador retreat where like being taught, you know, by George Ocado, who's a side note teaching class tomorrow live. So you want to tune in for that to see some real beautiful genius. But, you know, this moment with shapes and he's holding the comb and we're doing sectioning. And like I said, it was this like Russell Crowe moment where I just started seeing triangles and trapezoids and squares. And it finally all made sense. And I've been cutting hair like 8 years now, you know, like I know the techniques, I know how to hold this and that and the other, but actually grasping that concept finally was like a beautiful mind of a moment for me. So keeping with that, you know, I'm leaving my front a little bit longer. I'm doing my back a little bit shorter. So when I'm coming off the head, there's this nice triangle shape in there, you know, and that's what I'm trying to go with. And I go from that triangle shape. Now I got this, it's perfectly square. So now I'm going with this square shape. You know, and then with all these sections, when you start seeing those right angles and those right shapes, it kind of just makes sense finally. You know, some people get it right away, I guess, you know, and it took me longer because I guess I learned difference or something. You know, New York Public Schools, what can I say? ES 178. So you can see my hair's kind of drying out. So I'm gonna throw a little bit more on. Now here, while we're teaching classes, this haircut definitely takes longer than it should. I'm stopping, I'm going, I'm trying to remember what to say. But in a real shop situation, it's one of the quickest haircuts I think I have on my client roster. It's one of the most popular, you know, definitely by, you know, 6 o'clock at night. Somebody comes in and wants an executive contour, you know, you might give them the, we're all sold out, I'm sorry. But I'm doing the same steps here, lifting that hair, letting it fall out at the baseline, and working my way down. Fading that hair.
Brooklyn.
Yes, Carrie?
I'm just going to jump in because I'm echoing again. I wanted just to welcome our viewers. We have Albania, United States, Vietnam, Germany, Brazil, Taiwan, Thailand, the Netherlands, Honduras, Uruguay, Russia, Belgium, Sweden, and Bogota, Colombia. It's amazing. What? Let us know where you're watching from. Type your country in, please. It's really fun to see that many barbers and stylists wanting to better themselves and learn the way of the Lord. We appreciate you being here.
All right. Praising the greasy gospel. And that's, I love continuing education. I was so resistant to it for so long. You get out of school and you're just like, I know. I don't need to know how to do it, Because I don't know, for some reason in our heads, it's like a sign of weakness if you just say you're like, I don't get it. It doesn't mean you're a bad barber or a stylist. Explain it to me. I'll learn it. And like you can just see with this past year, the haircuts have changed. Some of them are the same. We're doing the same old stuff, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a lot of us got to learn how to work with long hair. So when you get that kind of chops down, you learn a bunch of different stuff. Then it all of a sudden becomes not so much about men's hair and women's hair. It's just length. It's just like, you want short hair, you want long hair. How do you want it to be? All right, going in and making sure my baseline is nice. And this is cleaned up. And then we're going to start moving into our top. Now, top we're going to do a little different than we normally do. It's not just going to be part baseline, comb it all one side, cut. We're going to break it down into a little bit smaller sections, a little bit easier to work with. And you notice we're doing this kind of new revamp executive contour that it takes out a lot of the later work after we get our, preliminary sketch in our haircut. And then there's a lot less of the fine tuning that goes down. So you can spend more time on these steps, perfecting your fade. Because by sectioning off, working in a little bit smaller of a step, you're actually speeding up your scissor work because you got less of it. I'm just going to open my blade, do a little freehand back here, clean up that neckline. You gotta love a neckline that goes in 7 different directions. Great. It's kind of like the Spice Girls. Each one of them's going a different way and doing its own thing.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I know I'm interrupting a lot. I'm sorry, but it's amazing. Everybody's really engaged. So one gentleman says, you can come to Thailand after COVID, and then he'd love to see you there. And then another question is, what advice can you give to all of us aspiring to become a Scumbassador?
All right. Okay. Well, first, Thailand. I would love to go. I'm big in Thailand. It's probably because of the metric system, but you know, I would love to get there. So if you got a hammock or something I can hang out in, I will come. And to be a Scumbassador, wow, that's a loaded question. I don't know. Try, because that's all I did. You know, we were constantly holding auditions, send in a videotape, you cutting hair. So keep posted on the website, finding out when we're holding these auditions and make a tape, try out. That's all you got to do. That's all I did. We videotaped a haircut real quick. We threw some Iron Maiden music to it, and you know, sent it in, and they liked what they saw. Uh, I was completely surprised. I did not think that was going to happen. So you never know. You know, I went with a huge group. A handful of us got picked, and a handful of us are still with them. You know, and the company has grown so much, and we're trying to take over every state. So having an educator in every region of the country. So if there's no Scumbassador in your region, and you feel like we need one in that region, make a videotape, send it to Reuzel. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, Len and Brutus just did a live interview the other day, and if you listen to how they got Reuzel started and in bed with all that, it's like one of the most inspiring, not only barber stories, but just career-changing developments. You know? So if you stay true to yourself, keep it 100, good things will happen, man. It's all about timing, in the right place, right time. So I'm trying to just dial in this neck here before I move on real quick, and then we'll get to that topic. So I hope I kind of answered that question. You know, like I said, I still don't really comprehend that I am a Scumbassador and I get to teach people because I don't feel like a teacher. You know, but what I do feel like is I was lucky enough to get taught by some of the best in our industry, and I'm lucky enough to hopefully share what I've learned. You know, is this the best version of that? No, but I know what I'm doing, and the people that you know taught me think I know what I'm doing. So I got to believe in them that they believe in me. Let's cut some top or leave it just like this. I mean, this is some 90s Mike Patton. Look at that. All right. I'm going to let all that hair down again. Like I said, we were speaking with sectioning, right? So I'm going to section off a nice little triangle here from the recession. It's about the center. I'm going to save that guy for later. And right here, I'm going to make a parting right down my middle. Now this is where my original section was. I'm going to make another parting about the width of my comb. Get all that out of there. Okay. So I'm going to start right back here, right? What? We're not starting on the side of the head? Nah. Start back here in the corners. I'm take a small section. Again, about the width of my comb. Tie that off. Now you see I got a triangle here. and I got a rectangle up front here. Now that's going to dictate my shape because I'm looking for that gradiency to get longer from the front, tighter in the back. And that triangle plus the roundness of our head is going to give us that nice square shape that we're looking for in our classic cuts. Again, Austin's really tall. This would be nice, you know, if you're working lower, but we're going to take that section that we just made in the back, lifting our hair up, making sure it's nice, straight, and then meeting that up with our baseline, right around the center back. And that last little section that I got up here in the corner, about the width of my comb, I'm going to pull that back, lifting it all up, and using what we just cut as our new baseline. Baseline nice, a little bit higher. Working around, getting rid of all that long hair. And what that's do is going to take out a little bit of that weight up top. Now we're going to work to our right, to the side of our head. And I already took out that one little section. Again, starting widest point of the head, finding our baseline underneath, and chopping. Now, as I get towards the front of the head, I'm just going to come out. I'm not going to dip down, right? Again, I said we're working kind of that triangular shape to create that squareness. I'm just coming a little bit more off the head. To help create that shape. Again, I'm going to take another small parting, size of my comb, bring that all the way over, lifting it up, finding our baseline. Till I make my way to that center. All right, now spray a little water around here. Again, I'm going to save that front length for later. I'm going to bring it around. About to a center. Saving all that hair for later. About the width of my comb. Bring that hair out. Finding my guideline. And chop it. So, picking up that extra hair. All right. Now we're moving to our left. Taking a parting about the width of our comb again. right above our original partings. And bringing it on
Brooklyn.
over. Yeah.
I mean, you're taking your time because you're walking us through this and doing a crazy great job of explaining. So, it's like 37 minutes now. But the question is, what's your normal time on this haircut? If you weren't talking to us and you just sat your patron down in his chair, how long would this take you?
It would definitely probably 35 minutes, um, roughly, depending on the hair type. If he's got great hair, so everything's kind of just flowing together nicely. But sometimes you got to work a little bit harder. So, we book out an hour for each one of our clients right now. So, mainly because we want everyone to get what they paid for. So it's definitely, and in a, different situation, I might, throw on guards to make it easier or quicker, or depending on what they want. But on average, this haircut, 35 minutes. It's pretty quick.
Perfect.
But here we
Thank
go.
you.
In our front, I'm going to take a small section and direct that down. Now I'm pretty much coming off of his head, and that's going to create that extra weight I need, as opposed to bringing it to the floor and chopping that angle. Either way is totally acceptable. As you determine the length in the front. Just working in a little bit smaller of sections as opposed to just bringing everything over at once. Let's put the water here. And now that we determined our front length, we're going to take a nice, pretty wide section to shorten the top here. Gathering all that hair. And you can see already his hair, just because we lost all that length, already wants to part right there. All right, so now let's dry our hair and see what we got. And when doing that, like always, the grooming tonic, liquid gold. I don't think we can say liquid gold. I don't know, the Velveeta people might get mad, but it's liquid gold to us. So that's our thermal protectant. It's also going to give us a nice little bit of hold in there to see the shape of our haircut. And then like the bus to school, we cut everything that's hanging out off. All right, we normally start here in the back. I'm going to wet the hair, dry the hair just a little bit before I go in with my vent brush. You don't want to dry too much. You don't want to lay dry hair on top of wet hair. I'm on a medium heat, a high speed, and I'm trying to just let that blow dryer do its job. And then kind of got it in with my vent brush every now and again. I just start working to the front and building that shape up. Normally I can stay on just one side blow drying, but often fall. Now I'm just using nice cool air to kind of seal in that shit. And cool down our client. You have it just, bombarding them with a bunch of things. Not bad, if I don't say so myself. So, now's the fun part. Because we get to cut hair. So this is basically now our sketch of what we kind of want that haircut to finally look like. And we get to go in and fine tune any of that stuff. So just because you already did your clipper work already, why I'm going to go back in and use more clipper? Yeah, of course. We're going to dial all that stuff in real quick. Anything we don't like, soften up that line. Especially now, using our clippers dry. So you get that nice dusty effect. So, if there's any more questions, it's always so hard doing these things, not live in person. Because people love to ask questions, point things out, talk about their career. I believe after this, I have to go look up flights to Thailand. I got my shots, dude. I'm good.
Brooklyn, there is a question. What hair dryer did you use?
The Valera. Yeah, I mean, it's Swiss. It's amazing. It's a beast. It's better air conditioning than my house. It's just what I like to use. It dries the hair pretty quick for me. Um, but when I'm doing shows or traveling around teaching and stuff like that, I always bring my Fabulous blow dryer. Um, it's like the lightest blow dryer I've ever had in my life. Wonderful. It's kind of a, a little crazy going back and forth. Like extremely heavy one to that super light Fabulous. So a little bit for time. All right. Now the top. So basically, my shape's there. I just want to take out a little bit of weight in some certain spots. So I'm going to kind of follow the same rules I did earlier when cutting. I'm going to work in the same kind of sections. Parting that over, bringing that back. Now you can do this either bringing your stuff over and point cutting softly, but I'm a little pressed for time. And while I use the tool 19 times, when you can just do once, softens that line a little bit. Now I can also go in, help create a little bit of direction, taking out some of that weight, so it'll help it flow back nicely. Got a little bit smaller sections up here. Just a little something to help get that product through. Definitely don't want to take out any length. A couple of things here and there. Hit up this neckline. Excuse me. I'm coming to you from Eugene, Oregon right now, so it's pretty early on this coast. First cup of Sanka's wearing off. Yes, that's Sanka. I wonder, do they still make Sanka? Is that still a thing? Maybe a nice Nescafe. Nescafe? Nescafe? That's something? I don't know. Starting to date myself. I feel a little old. Maybe on down. No peeking. Just our lights a little bit nicer over here. I'm going to try to leave this neckline as natural as possible. Lines. Now, what kind of product should I use in this hair? Anybody out there have any suggestions?
I'm asking the group, Brooklyn.
Nice. I mean, you know me, Carrie. I'll probably do what I want anyway. Just try to be engaging.
I just sent it out and asked everybody.
Nice. Well, in case you guys are wondering, I made this costume outfit. I make all my own clothes. Well, when I'm not buying them, or like, I don't know. I made this. Is basically what I'm saying. So I made that. It's nice. It'd be surprising how hard it is to find an Elvis costume in my size. I mean, it's the king. He was fat as, you know what I'm saying? And all you're going to give me is a medium. Got to take life into your own hands sometimes.
Well,
And this is my Monday outfit. You should see me on like Fridays.
All right, Brooklyn. Well, Clyde's barbershop wants to know, would the blue pomade work? Melissa says use fiber. Douglas says pink and red. Dustin says, I love the green.
Ooh, I like the name Dustin, so we're definitely going to use some green in this bad boy. I think I'm gonna go in with, let's see, we're gonna do some matte styling paste first.
Ooh, mixing it up.
Yeah. Changing it up just a little bit. I love this stuff. I mean, with some guys that come in, when you're losing your hair, every little bit counts, you know? So when you use a little bit firmer of a product, you're going to wind up pulling out hair. We all do. It's not like it's the product's fault. You know, it's not its fault you're going bald. But when you're using something a little bit lighter, like our creams, they just go in the hair nicely. And especially here in the Northwest where we change, yes, you know, one day it's 80 degrees, the next day it's, 45 and raining. So you got to kind of adapt to your surroundings, and just walking around with a water-based pomade in your hair is dangerous. You can sweat. So this is cool, just throw a little matte paste in it and, a little bit wild of our style. But when we go over it with a grease, with a wax-based pomade, you're going to be able to wash out his hair really quick. I think I'm going to cocktail a little bit of the green and the pink. Ooh. Love these tans. Definitely is some of my favorite packaging on the circuit right now. I mean, this just, it fits right in there. You know, it's not a can that's this deep. So, you know, back in the day, in the rockabilly wave, before I went all ponytail 90s bad guy, you carried your grease with you. You know, there was nothing cooler than being in a men's room, running a quart low, and then you were just all, there's my 10. And with Reuzel pomades, you can do that. Now, you might look a little weird carrying around your matte styling paste in your back pocket, but hey, it's 2021. You do you. Be you. It's fine. So right now, I'm just kind of combing it through with my fingers, digging that kind of little bit wilder of a style. You don't want to force the crybaby down. You just want to, you know, let DNA dictate that. Like always, we start with our pick. B for Brooklyn, you know. Starting with my sides, working my way back. Now, halfway through this haircut, I threw an audible. I was like, it looks so nice with that length. And I just love pompadours. So we use the same exact techniques that we use on our executive contour to do a pompadour, right? Only thing I really changed was length. So the longer I kept this and this, bam, now we have a pomp. But we still have it short enough on the sides that if he wants to, he's got that part. That's just up to him. That's the executive contour, right? We should probably give it a new name one of these days. Now on top of this grease, sometimes, you know, you get those little flyaways. You can use your Reuzel grooming tonic and go in and lay those down. I'm gonna leave it a little bit looser in here. I just like the way it's flowing. Kind of digging that shape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my surf tonic and I'm just gonna dust them. Now, adding that surf tonic on top of our already existing products, what it's gonna do, it's almost like a hairspray, like a natural light hairspray. You know, it's not just, you know, surf tonic, so, oh, you know, look like you've been in the ocean, you know, just that. It's not one specific look. It just depends on how you use that product. Nice lived in top with smooth sides on those fenders. You know, it's just a look that I like. You know, you just kind of want to look like you just got off a motorcycle. I mean, motorcycles is dangerous. So, you know, and besides, when you get off a motorcycle, you know, you take off a helmet and your hair looks like crap. Everyone knows that. It's just, you know, those model pictures where some guy's standing next to a motorcycle. So, look like you're going really fast. And don't die young. So, you know, look good getting old. Well, that's basically it. I'm gonna shave up his neckline here. How we doing on time? We're about there.
While you're doing that, Brooklyn, I'll just make a couple of announcements if you don't mind.
Yeah, take care of that.
So tomorrow, everyone, George Acatato is going to be with us. It's a bonus to have a live on a Tuesday He is our Director of Technical Training, and he's doing a look from our London Calling collection of some longer haircuts. So you'll want to join us same time at noon. And then next Monday, we're back, same time again at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And Stephanie Buckley's going to be with us. So we've got a lot of education scheduled for you.
Yeah, Stephanie is amazing. I mean, you want education, Stephanie is your Scumbassador to go to. You know, the way she explains stuff is really, really nice. Yeah, I like to watch her personally so I can steal tips, because I don't know if you noticed, but my grammar's not that good. So anything that I can learn is definitely a plus. But I hope you guys learned something here today a little bit. Coming in hot.
You did an amazing job, Brooklyn. Thank you. His haircut is incredible. Be sure to take pictures for us so we can post them.
Oh, of course. We'll get some pictures in there.
You imparted tons of wisdom on us. And listen, you're not stealing from Steph. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. That's what my mom used to tell me.
Not bad. I'll take it. I mean, you know, some people have stolen stuff from me, you know. It's cool to borrow. Right? What is it they say that like a good artist paints and a great artist steals? I think maybe it was Concept. One of those guys. One ear. Audible. It's like the one time you don't want to lose a straight razor. There it is. I got it. I'm fine. It's so funny when I'm watching our classes on Monday, I'm always watching the time, getting nervous. You know, like, oh my God, they have 3 minutes. I hope they finish. Yeah. And now here I am, 3 minutes over, hoping I finish.
You take your time. You're a master, and this looks amazing. We're all still with you.
I do appreciate everyone coming out and joining me today. It's always fun to teach these classes, especially since, you know, here in Oregon, we're always on lockdown, so I'm not doing anything in person right now. So I'm just glad that you guys would hang out with me on a Monday morning or evening, wherever you guys are coming from. I greatly appreciate it. And there you have it. Neck back here. Because you never know. Well, right on. Thanks everybody for joining me this morning. Appreciate you having us today.
Thank you, Brooklyn. You want to give them one spin around so we can see it before we say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, I want to say just real quick, if you guys are on the internet already, go to Patrick Lewis, our fellow Scumbassador. Go to his page and vote for him. He's got a link up there. He's in the running for a contest. One of the best hairstylists in North America. Check him out. And go vote for our boy. And yeah, it's been 5 years since we lost Prince. So stay living in the purple rain. That's all I can tell you. When that elevator tries to bring you down, go do some hair, man. Just go do a haircut. We're all kind of bummed out. It's a roller coaster of emotions, but we're getting out of it finally. It's slow and steady, and we're all getting back to hair. So don't forget to drink your water, love yourselves and each other. Happy cutting, and may the Lord bless.
Take care. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow or next week.